Welcome back for another story with Miss Jackie. I have Gabriel here with me again. He likes to have stories read with Grammy. Today, we are going to hear about My Two Dads. This is a story by Claudia Harrington, and it was illustrated by Zoe Persico. Just like I do the last time when I read with Gabriel, I'm going to show you the page after because Gabriel doesn't understand that I can't show him the pictures while we're reading. Hi, Lenny. I'm Jasmine, but you can call me Jazz. Everybody does. Sure, Jazz, said Lenny. Click. Are we going to take the bus? Jazz shook her head. Dad picks me up. Have you ever ridden in a horse trailer? Lenny tried not to look scared. No. See, it looks like they're getting out of school, doesn't it? Because that looks like a big school bus. When the trailer pulled up, Lenny grabbed his camera. Click. I'm glad we don't have to ride in the horse part, he said. Look at that truck with that big horse trailer. Huh, that's a pretty big truck, too. Jazz's dad laughed. Nice to meet you. I'm Jazz's dad. Well, the short one. He winked at Jazz. Click. What's your name? The smell of hay and horses wafted from the back. Horse, said Lenny. Jazz laughed. Lenny's face got hot. I meant Lenny, he said. Look it. There's Jazz's dad. You get used to the smell, said Jazz as they bumped over a long dirt road. Jazz pointed to a big barn set back from the road. Home sweet home. Look at that big red barn. It's got a windmill next to it too, doesn't it? See the windmill? Oh, I accidentally turned 2 pages at one time. There we go. You live in a barn? Asked Lenny. Click. Jazz smiled. No, we live in that farmhouse right next to it. But sometimes it feels like we live in the barn, said Dad. We spend a lot of time there. Look at that barn is way bigger than the house, don't you think? Who helps with your school project? Asked Lenny as they hopped out of the truck. Pappy checks my design, said Jazz as Pappy swung her around in a circle. Click. But he's sometimes installing his own art in the city somewhere, so Dad helps me if I need it. So look, so there's Jazz's Pappy. Speaking of projects, said Pappy, why don't you two pick some apples and then work on your solar system? If you grab a couple of extra apples, you can feed them to the horses, called Dad. Cool, said Lenny. Click. Apple. Apple. Gabriel was pointing to the apple on the tree. Do you like apples? Just keep your hand flat, said Jazz. Who takes care of the horses? Asked Lenny. Dad does, but Pappy and I help sometimes, said Jazz. Hi, Doodles. Click. I think Lenny really likes taking pictures because he's taken a lot, huh? And what do you think of those horses? Horse? Yep, that's a horse. Who makes your dinner? Asked Lenny as they worked on their projects. Pappy does if he's home. Otherwise, we might have to eat oats, laughed Jazz. I'm great with carrots too, joked Dad. Dinner's almost ready, yelled Pappy. Look, they're making a very nice solar system, don't you think? Does your dad always braid your hair? Asked Lenny. Click. Jazz nodded. Hold still, said Dad. He's used to braiding the horse's tails, said Jazz. But I like working on this end better, joked Dad. They all laughed. Look it, Pappy's bringing out dinner. What do you do for fun? Asked Lenny. Come on. Jazz dragged him to the barn, then pressed play. Bow to your partner, do-si-do, called a recorded voice. Click. Who taught you to dance? Asked Lenny. Dad and Pappy both did, said Jazz. Look at them. They're doing their line dancing. Circle left and promenade home, called the voice. When the last song ended, Lenny was out of breath. Who dusts you off? He asked. Every cowboy and cowgirl for themselves, said Pappy as Dad handed out horse brushes. Look at, they're going to clean themselves off with horse brushes. Who reads your bedtime story? Asked Lenny. That's a horse? Dad and Pappy take turns, said Jazz, and Doodle listens. Who loves you best? Asked Lenny. We both do, said Dad and Pappy. Click. Lenny ran to give his mom a hug. Looks like Lenny's mom got there to pick him up, huh? Yep, that's Lenny's mom. Oh, and here it is. This says Student of the Week, Jazz. Look at all of those pictures of Jazz that Lenny took. Isn't that cool? That must, okay, we got to turn the page. That's a horse. Good night, Student of the Week, said Lenny. Good night, Twinkle Toes, said Jazz. And good night to all of you. Thank you for coming to hear our story tonight. Hopefully, Gabriel will be back to read stories with us again soon.